Welcome to Growth TV, an ACG production. I'm Carolyn Vallejo. As pharmacy costs at portfolio companies rise, managing that spend is becoming a focal point for private equity sponsors looking to maximize value. Here to discuss this challenge is Peter Lombardi, Executive Advisor for Private Equity with RxBenefits. Peter, welcome to Growth TV.
Hi, Carolyn. Thank you so much for having me today.
First, tell us why pharmacy costs are becoming such a major issue and one that PE firms really should be paying close attention to.
Sure, of course. So before we start, maybe I'll define what we say pharmacy costs. So pharmacy costs is the amount of money that an employer and employees spend each year to gain access to a prescription drug program. So healthcare is usually the second largest line item on a company's P&L statement. And pharmacy spend represents 20, 30, as much as 50% of the total healthcare spend. 10 years ago, Carolyn, that number was really in the 10 to 15% range. But now pharmacy costs have increased so much that it represents a much bigger number. So the impact of that really is that it's affecting the EBITDA performance of portfolio companies.
And that's certainly not good news for any private equity sponsor. So what are some of the levers that private equity firms can maybe pull to minimize those costs and mitigate that negative impact on EBITDA?
Some things that portfolio companies and or private equity firms can be doing collectively are identifying areas of potential savings, risk management, looking for ways in which they might be able to mitigate risk. And so one of the things that we've seen private equity firms doing, as I said, is getting more involved on an annualized basis with their portfolio companies to find areas of opportunity for savings and risk mitigation. So our company, RxBenefits, has roughly 3 million members that use our service. And what we've seen, very interestingly, is that about 10% of the employee population drives 90% of a company's pharmacy spend. And interestingly, 2% of that drives 50% of the pharmacy spend. So private equity firms now are they're getting more involved in the oversight of their employees' pharmacy spend. And the ways in which they're doing that is they're really taking a look historically at what's taken place over the past year, 2 or 3, and they're looking at trend analysis to try and determine what's happened. Is the portfolio company operating within a reasonable realm of performance? Are they underachieving? Are they overachieving? If they're underachieving, what can they do to potentially try to save money?
So there are certainly some effective strategies that PE firms can implement in order to mitigate those costs. Do you have any examples to reflect that in terms of what works and maybe what might not work so well?
Well, I can tell you what doesn't work. What doesn't work is when private equity firms and their portfolio companies just pretend that they hit the reset button every year and they not pay attention to it. And that happens frequently. The areas where we see the greatest success are when private equity firms, our operating partners and portfolio companies work closely together in assessing historically what's transpired, looking closely at contracts, making sure that they are leaving no stone unturned in terms of contractual agreements, areas of opportunity for savings. And oftentimes, private equity firms are now hiring outside third-party consultants who come in that have great knowledge about the industry and helping them do an assessment of where they stand and where potential areas of savings are, and most importantly, where areas of risk mitigation stand.
Mm-hmm. So certainly an opportunity there for some collaboration, some data-driven analysis to preserve those benefits for employees. Peter, thank you so much for joining Growth TV.
Carolyn, thank you so much for having me.